Don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our featured bout, and it is being brought to you by Dibella Entertainment. It is scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing, and it will be for the NABF Junior Welterweight Championship. Sponsored by Corona, La Cerveza Más Fina, Future Legend, Azad Watches, and Everlast. It is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. Chairwoman is Melvina Lathan. Director of Boxing is Ralph Petrillo. Chief Medical Officer is Dr. Barry Jordan. Along with the North American Boxing Federation, President is Joe Dwyer. Supervisor tonight is Jill Diamond. Our 3 judges assigned, scoring on a 10-point must system, will be Carlos Ortiz, Kevin Morgan, and Frank Lombardi. Our referee in charge, the 3rd man in the ring, will be Eddie Claudio. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Roseland Ballroom here in New York City, this is our Broadway boxing main event of the evening. Introducing to you first, to my right, the challenger fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He's wearing green trunks trimmed in black and weighed in at 137 pounds. Coming to us from Washington, D.C., he brings a professional record of 37 wins, 19 defeats, 1 draw, with 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. And his opponent across the ring in this main event, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He's wearing red trunks with gold and weighed in at an even 140 pounds. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, he is undefeated with 18 wins, and 3 of those wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the current NABF Super Lightweight Champion, Gabriel Tito Bracero.
Tito, chop chop. NABF Junior Welterweight title on the line, okay? All I ask is a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourself at all times. And let's do it. Let's get popping.
All right, Brian, give me the tail of the tape here.
Well, tell the tape. What's telling here, the experience or lack of experience is the key here. Will 57 fights of Corley proved to be too much for the 18-fight veteran, or would the youth prevail?
This one should be very, very good. Tito Bracero undefeated going up against DeMarcus Corley, of course, Chop Chop out of D.C., and he has fought some of the best in boxing, from Floyd Mayweather, Zab Judah, Miguel Cotto, all these guys, and he fought them all young and in their prime.
For them competitive, too. Well, he had Miguel Cotto out on his feet in Puerto Rico.
And it always seems to me, Steve, when you talk about DeMarcus Corley, is which one are you going to get?
Well, you know, he's still dangerous. We know he's lost 6 in a row. It's been to the very top level of opponents at 140 pounds, and some of those fights, they're all on the road, of course, but some of them have been split decisions, and he's been in them, and a couple of them he could have won. So this is a rite of passage for Tito Bracero. Every prospect has to fight that faded former world champ at some point and beat him.
Well, Chop Chop, Roseland, the Russian undefeated fighter, he fought him over in Russia about a month ago, and a lot of people feel Chop Chop won.
Yeah, right hook. The Bracero flush.
And fans who might remember that.
And a left hook.
fans who remember Chop Chop from years ago remember a boxer, a slick boxer. As he's gotten older, he's gotten a little more flat-footed, which is common. And right now, he's in the pocket. He's not moving at all.
Well, though he was a boxer, Chop Chop was always a decent puncher. If you remember one punch, he knocked out Randall Billy for the title. So he has some pop.
Then we saw Bailey and Chop Chop fight the second time on
Well, we saw Bailey fight.
Broadway Boxing.
We saw Bailey fight.
Or each other.
Chop Chop didn't show up. I don't know if that
Oh,
was
who was that other guy in the ring? You mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the reason why I really didn't like this particular matchup for Tito Bracero is the fact that Tito's so used to guys coming at him. He gets in the rhythm, working his jab and combinations. I felt Chop Chop, A, would make him come at him, or Chop Chop would establish a decent jab that Bracero wasn't used to. So either way, I didn't really like the matchup for Tito, but the test that he must pass.
Well, for sure. Right now, they're kind of both in the pocket. Neither guy pushing the other back. And keep in mind also, in terms of southpaws, well, Bracero's best win was against Danny O'Connor, former amateur star, who was a southpaw. So he hasn't fought that many lefties, but he was very effective against O'Connor. But O'Connor is not Chop Chop Corley.
Final seconds here of round one. They're going 10. Here comes round two. I know, talking with Tommy Gallagher, said one of the things they had saw in training is that, you know, DeMarcus Corley, when he throws that right jab, it's not a straight right jab, and he wanted Tito to come over with that left hook.
And that's one thing I know Tommy has been working with Tito on, is the left hook. Tito's very good with the 1-2s, but the hooks, he don't always bring the left hook back.
The thing that...
Oh, there's a left.
That
and
open and cut.
And it hit Bracero flush, and Bracero has a cut under his right eye. You're seeing pawing at it.
Tito!
It's bothering him.
And it seems to have energized Corley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a bad cut, too.
Very bad cut.
And then also, the reason why I didn't like this matchup is because of the mindset of both guys. Tito Bracero, look at his opponent. On a decline, lost his last 6. I'm on the rise. So you may not be as focused mentally as you should be. And here's Chop Chop. It got to come a point in time where you get tired of being that journeyman. Tired of being used. His last fight, according to sources, he won. He reached that point where he got tired of just being used. So I knew he would come in here energized and try to beat Tito.
Well, if that fight had been stopped by the ringside doctor right there, it would have been a no decision because according to ABC rules, you need 4 complete rounds before you go to the cards. But
That one's slip. Looked like his feet got tangled up.
happens a lot with lefties and righties.
Are you sure about that, Steve?
I'm not sure.
I think it'd be a TKO.
Oh, it depends on
So
if it's a butt or a
Because
punch.
it was a punch.
Well, we saw it as a punch. I assume that, yeah, you're correct. I should clarify that. It seemed pretty clear. As soon as that punch landed, we saw the blood. So that would be a TKO. You're correct.
Here comes Tito Bracero now.
What has marked Tito in his years on Broadway boxing? Composure, guts, and consistency. Well, he may have to fight a little bit outside the box tonight because of the cut and because of the raising the level of his opposition.
But he should still stay composed.
Yeah, of course.
He's still wiping away at that eye.
Oh, there was a left hand connected. Corley.
I didn't want to make mention of it, but every time I talk to Chop Chop, nice left hand. Every single time I talk to Chop Chop, he tells me he's ready, he's in shape. I just got tired of listening to him. But it appears that he was right today.
Now the overhand right, and that one sends Bracero to the canvas.
I told you, Chop Chop has a beautiful left hand.
Wow,
Tito,
and
look at his
Bracero.
legs.
That one hurt Bracero.
It's at the end of the round, though.
Talk about saved by the bell, because you're giving your opponent that much more surface to punch at. Well, let's see Bracero's legs. That's the key here.
Yeah.
He got up on stiff legs. But let's see if Chop Chop allows him to get back into this fight. Because I seen the Miguel Cotto fight. Miguel was out on his feet. Chop Chop allowed him to get into the fight and did nothing else.
Well, this is something this crowd has not seen before, and that's Bracero to go down like that. He's undefeated.
I don't think he's ever been down before, not that I recall anyway.
2 of his last 3 for Bracero have come by knockout.
Well, think about it. From Bracero's standpoint, he's in the toughest fight of his life. We're in round 3. He's already been cut badly and dropped.
He's down 3 points on my card.
Well, we had talked about this at the top of the show. You know, Corley's a guy who's been in the ring with some of the best, and then he's dangerous because he's lost 6 straight.
Right.
As I said, there comes a point of any boxer where they have to say enough is enough. You got to get tired of losing. If you've won at a certain point in your life, you have to get tired of losing.
Let's go, punch out.
And you do one of 2 things if you get tired of losing. Either you quit or you get in there and you win.
Well, this is a little bit slower round because Bracero's being very tentative, but that you can understand.
Right.
If you saw his legs at the end of round 2, you understand. He'll give away round 3, and he's not necessarily giving it away. No one's really landed anything significant, but just to get his legs back, if it costs him a round, he'll take it.
Yeah, I think he's winning this round, but it's just so...
There's another right. So there's a left hook that connects to Bracero. And I don't know if Bracero...
5, 6, 7. Hey, Tito, I'm not going to let you go no more after this one, all right? Come on, let's go. Show me something.
He stumbled as he was trying to get up.
And keep in mind, the ref wants to see something big from Tito, but Tito's not a big puncher.
And I think he's really in danger because look at Chop Chop.
Walking in.
There's a
He
big
has
right
nothing
hand.
but hurt on his face right now.
Walking in, no fear.
Another right hand in the left. Bracero's hurt again. Couple of seconds left here in this round.
No, Tito, don't do that. Let's go. Time. Let's get out.
Wow.
After the bell, time. After the bell. Time. Over there.
All right, round 4. You can see the doctors want to just take another look. He said the cut and everything is okay.
The doctor said, "Where are you?" And he said, "What do you mean?"
Well, at least from visual evidence, Bracero has his wits about him. That's not the problem. The problem is Chop Chop's landing all the big power shots now. And look at Chop Chop. He looks like an assassin right now. He's just walking in fearlessly, knowing he can hurt his guy with any single shot. And is Bracero equipped to do something about it at this point?
See, that's the key because he hurt Bracero with a right hook. He hurt him with a left hand. So if you're Bracero, what do? Do you move left or do you move right? Pick your poisons.
Yeah, well, Bracero has to get his legs. If he has his legs, he's going to have to force the issue. He's not going to win backing up. Because he's already down 4 points, maybe more, on the card.
And this is where that saying, don't jab a southpaw. You can't jab a southpaw. Now, Tito, I mean, I'm quite sure Tommy Gallagher don't believe in that philosophy because Tito is jabbing. You need a jab, and Tito should get his jab going. I know most people against the southpaw don't jab. But if you don't jab, now you allow Chop Chop to throw those power shots.
And also the jab will set up the right hand, which is a punch Bracero needs.
And you can see it's almost like Corley just being methodical. He's trying to find that right opportunity to either throw that left hand.
And it's not like Chop Chop can't be hurt. When he fought Lucas Matisse, who was a top 10 junior welterweight, he was down 9 times in one fight.
Wow.
He could be hurt. Delorme had him down on this very ring about 3 months ago.
But look at the patience. And this is what I don't like. While Chop Chop is being patient, Bracero should be punching. That's how you get back into the fight. Get yourself a rhythm.
Crowd certainly trying to give some support to Bracero, urge him on. He's been down twice so far in this fight.
And he hasn't really thrown much more than the jab this round. Keeping that right hand high to prevent that left hand from Chop Chop. But in doing so, he's handicapping himself.
Well, I think Bracero's a little gun shy, Brian. I think that's why he's not firing.
Yeah, agreed. That's why I said if you're Bracero, human nature, what do? You got hurt on both sides. And to the crowd's credit, they're still trying to support that guy.
Absolutely.
As they should.
Final seconds of this round. Corley. Here's the right. Here comes Bracero right back. Round 5, Tito Bracero, DeMarcus Corley. Corley's had him down, talking about Bracero twice so far in this fight. Give me your scorecard thus far, Brian Adams.
Well, good news and bad news for Tito. Good news, I gave him the last round. Bad news, he's still down 4 points. 10-9, I scored for Chop Chop in the first round. Second and third round, 10 to 8 each.
I have it 40-35. I have it 5 points for Chop Chop.
Oh, so you gave Chop the last round?
Yeah. Just really based on that last punch.
Here's a left. Connected, backs Bracero up.
Bracero just tried something nice there, right hand to the body. You want to try to wear the veteran down as much as you can. You work the body. Look at Chop Chop, just standing in the center of the ring, waiting for Bracero to move forward.
Yeah, he is being very methodical and finding that right shot to bring him out just like that. There's the left hand.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's a matter of now his legs are not as sturdy and strong as they should be. That last knockdown really wasn't a hard shot.
You can hear the anxiety in this crowd. Third time Bracero has been down in this fight. Bracero fighting back now. And he connects. Oh, a big left hand by Corley.
So he shouldn't get into a slugfest, but he should let his hands go. Anytime Chop Chop decides, do exactly that if you're Bracero. Just move. When Chop Chop decides to punch, you move. When Chop Chop is not punching, like now, let your hands go. If you get off, now move with your Bracero. Don't get into a slugfest with him.
Blood under the right eye of Bracero. And once again, you can see Corley just trying to find that right shot.
That hurt you shot.
Yeah, it isn't all about boxing now. It's just about, I want to find that one clean shot to end this fight.
Keep in mind with the blood and with the points that Bracero has lost because of the knockdowns, he's almost forced to try for a knockout. That's not his way of fighting. But he's doing that right now, and he's somewhat effective doing it. Now, he lost this round 10-8, but he's done better fighting this round than any round since the first.
There's a left hand by Corley there at the end of the round. Here we go, round 6. DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley has already sent Tito Bracero to the canvas 3 times in this fight.
Now, as a veteran boxer who's turned into a journeyman, who got that sparring syndrome, this is the type of fight where you realize, hey, I used to do this for a reason. And you forget about that sparring syndrome. You forget about that journeyman. And you forget that you're the underdog.
With all the action, it's easy to forget or not point out that Chop Chop Corley's wearing plastic trunks.
You're right.
He designs his own trunks, always has.
Always has.
But I don't think I've ever seen plastic trunks before.
But not only does he
Or vinyl, whatever that is.
he designed his own shoes. Those are his boxing shoes, his line.
Well, it's not the shoes, it's not the trunks, it's the hands today that are working for him.
Good right hand by Bracero there. The big question for Bracero, who we know is not a KO puncher, even if he out-hits Corley in all these subsequent rounds, is he behind too far to catch up?
You're right. There's no question on the scores because the knockdowns are all clean. So no questionable knockdowns or questionable rounds where you give them a 10-9.
And Brian, given that the knockdowns were all clean, which they were, and they were all pretty severe, I'm pretty impressed that Bracero has the legs left that he does.
Well, toughness is not something he lacks.
No,
So
never
I'm not
has.
surprised that he's here. And physically, he trains hard. So he's in great shape, which is the reason why he got it from 2 of those knockdowns.
And also, a couple of those knockdowns came at the very end of rounds, and that helped him out.
Here's a good left hand by Bracero, right on the button. Both men exchange punches there. Final seconds here.
Good comeback round for Bracero.
Corley's last win came in July, back in 2010.
And Chop Chop was an old amateur buddy of mine. We traveled on a couple of teams together. So I had a chance to really know him before his career took off, before he even started his professional career.
Just to put Chop Chop in perspective, he's 37 years old. It's been 13 years since he was a world champion at this weight.
Wow.
He stayed at this weight, 140.
Right, and that's one of the issues I brought up to him. I didn't like the fact that he stayed at the same weight so long.
But I don't think conditioning's ever been a problem for him.
No.
That's more of a push than a right hand there by Corley. I can't help but think back to that rematch Randall Bailey had with Corley on Broadway Boxing. What a difference in opponents, because Randall Bailey has one of the greatest right hands in boxing.
He did put...
And Bracero doesn't have that right hand.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it. Bracero has stopped 2 of his last 3 opponents. No knockouts at all before that.
There's a left to the body by Corley.
And Chop Chop certainly let Tito off the hook and back into the fight. Although I think he's winning, but there's no danger. I don't see the danger there now for Tito.
One thing we haven't talked much about, that cut, it looks to me like the blood's dripping right into Tito's eye.
Yeah, I think it's right above his right
Maybe
eye.
two
Yeah,
cuts.
it's right above. Yeah, it might be. You might be right about that, Brian. But there's definitely one above
And who
that's
knows,
now pronounced.
Yeah, and who knows how much that's affecting his vision in that right eye.
You see him wipe away at the eye?
Yeah, he's pawing at it, yeah.
See, the one thing about Tito, when he tries to make the transition from defense to offense, he squares up a lot. So when he goes to punch, he squares up the punch.
Corley, right jabbing, Bracero.
Stalking Bracero, but not letting Sands go.
And that's the round.
5 seconds out. Number 8. Go, Tito. Tito, number 8.
Round 8. Our main event here at the Roseland Ballroom. Brian Custer along with Steve Farhood, Brian Adams, Tito Bracero taking on DeMarcus Corley, and finds himself in trouble in this one thus far. He's been down 3 times.
Well, we've seen Bracero on Broadway boxing how many times? Maybe 9 times. And at this point in almost every one of his fights, it's just been a question of has he won every round?
He's been coasting, right?
Yeah. So different tonight. So much at stake for Bracero. Remember, this is not a young prospect.
He's 30.
Yeah, he's 30 years old.
You know, granted, he's young and fights, but not young in life.
Right.
So physically, as you get older, your body is certainly going to change. It's going to be harder for you to do certain things.
Chop 2 passes now. That's the question.
Yeah, it almost looks as if he's stopped trying to win this fight.
Well, he's a smart veteran, and maybe he's calculating enough to say, well, you know, those 3 knockdowns gave me a 6-point lead. This guy's not a puncher. I'm not going to give him anything fancy. I'm not going to give him anything to hit. And I'll just take the point win on points, but that's always dangerous. You never know.
He's been game and content with now just doubling up, maybe tripling up with the jab, and then trying to come over with the left hooks.
That wasn't a knockdown. Their legs, their feet got tangled. That wasn't a knockdown.
They're going to count it as a knockdown.
But right, the referee, to his defense, didn't see it.
But did he go down? Did any part of him touch
His glove touch.
His glove touch?
His glove touch.
Well, a right hand was thrown and
I
landed.
was going to say, if he threw that punch, you got to count that as a knockdown, don't you?
Because if the legs lock and the right hand lands, they're going to call it a knockdown, whether they're sure or not. I just didn't see that anything touched the canvas, but I guess it...
Now let's see if this awakens both fighters.
But that's huge in terms of points, because this is a 10-8 round for Bracero.
Absolutely.
And Bracero should put it in the bank and not fight any more this round.
You know, Corley has been content. Let's see if he steps it up now. And let's see if Bracero steps up his attack.
The fighter stepping it up is Chop. He's walking forward now.
Here comes Bracero now. And Tito Bracero now has some life.
Any part of you, after a punch, if any part of you, other than the soles of your feet, touch the ground, it's a knockdown. Nothing touched.
The punching in the touch.
Well, certainly reinvigorated Tito Bracero.
You close the gap on my scorecard.
Big time.
And now all of a sudden, look, Chop has found that energy that we saw in the first 4 rounds.
They have a score of 75-73 in favor of Chop Chop.
Yeah, if Bracero wins the last 2 rounds, anything could happen on the cards.
Crowd is chanting Tito.
Let's go, Chop Chop. Watch your head, baby. Watch your head. Watch your head.
This is the kind of fight where at this point you just wait for something dramatic.
Absolutely.
You're waiting for something dramatic to happen.
A lot of people in this Roseland Ballroom standing up.
So now if you're Tito, work your jab, give movement like he's doing. Be conscious of that left hand. Be conscious of that right hook. Keep your hands high, keep your defense tight. Keep working combinations off the jab.
Well, this round's there to be won. No one's taking command.
There's a left by Corley. Bracero misses.
More missing than hitting.
Yeah, big right hook. Misses by Corley.
Right, this is one of those rounds where hometown crowd plays a little factor. You give it to Tito because maybe he should win the round. It's one of those rounds.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a meaningful punch to land. Well, that might have been the best punch of the round. Bracero right hand.
And it was partially blocked.
There's
nice
a left.
hook.
Yeah,
left hook, sorry.
Good left hook by Bracero. Here we go.
I have Chop Chop 1 point ahead. That Brian says the same thing, 1 point.
Correct, 83-84.
Yeah, we got there the same way. So this is, on our cards at least, Bracero can get a draw, score a knockdown, and get a win.
Main event, Roseland Ballroom. Tito Bracero trying to remain unbeaten.
But Tito's trying to win this round, so.
He needs it. He's got to know he needs it. You know what this fight is like? It's like a basketball game where one team is far ahead at the half, and the other team put the ball in the freezer.
Yeah, just trying to run the clock out, dribble, shoot every now and then.
And lost what they got the lead with.
Short right by Corley. Connects.
Come on, punch out, punch out. All right, break. Back up.
Nice short right hook again by Chop Chop.
We'll see if Corley trying to cut the ring off. Bracero with the jab. Good left jab by Bracero.
Chop Chop's looking for that right hook again and again and again.
Well, he had Bracero walking into it. What, every time Bracero moves to his left, Chop Chop cuts him off, licks his chops and try to cut that right hook.
Well, they both threw hooks there, and Bracero got the better of it.
Let him go, Chop Chop. Let him go, Tito. Let him go. All right, break. Let's go. Break clean.
Bracero's certainly been the more busier fighter here over the past, what, 3-4 rounds?
Yeah.
And if Bracero wins this round, on Brian and my cards, he'll be even. When's the last time you remember a fight where one guy's down 3 times? Now, granted, Corley was down once as well, officially anyway, but down 3 times and might not lose the fight.
Juan Manuel and Pacquiao.
3 times in 1 round.
Yeah. And I thought he won.
Yeah.
Here we go as we come to a close here in the final round.
Guys, this is Bracero's round.
Yeah. I mean, Chop Chop landed some nice short right hooks, but I thought Tito just did more this round.
Here we go. Final 10 seconds. And that's it.
It's going to be a very interesting decision.
Very interesting decision.
Promoter Lou Dibella comes over and says he has it a draw. I think he'd be very happy with a draw right now, because at the halfway mark of this fight, a draw wasn't even an option.
So Tito Bracero, 18-0. Still trying to remain unbeaten. Let's take another look here, guys. I mean, because this is probably the turning point of this fight, was whether or not Corley went down, and if it's a knockdown.
I think this here is certainly the deciding factor in the score. Because if the judge scored at 10-8, on our scorecards we have a draw, but if the judge scores it properly as a 10-9, then Chop Chop still wins. Let's try to see if we can get a different angle and let the people decide. Well, it's nothing to decide. He did not go down, so it was a questionable call. Eddie Claudio at first I thought was out of position and didn't see it, but he was clearly in position in that frame. So he called it a knockdown, and you have to abide by the referee, call it 10-8. 10-8 on our scorecard puts that a draw for Tito Bracero.
Of course, Bracero now holds the NABF light welterweight title. His belt was on the line here. And Corley, again, looking for his first win since July of 2010. I understand the decision is in. Let's go right up to the ring. Here's Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Carlos Ortiz scores it 96-90. And both judges, Kevin Morgan and Frank Lombardi, are in agreement, scoring it the same, 94-92, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And new NABF Junior Welterweight Champion, DeMarcus "Chop Chop" Corley.